So, um, yeah, I'm just gonna get started with the Q1 payments. Here, I'll share my screen. Um, yeah, so um, not everything is ready yet, but we're almost there. Um, we're still missing a couple people to fill out their coordinates. Um, for the Space Engineering Guild, we're still missing Justin and Sean. For DAO Denver, we're missing Justin, and for Davos, we're missing Ben. So, hopefully we get those in from them soon, and, yeah, and I think, there's still some MVPs that are missing, so, yeah, I'm gonna track those down. So this isn't quite ready yet, but it's almost there. Once we get those missing pieces in, yeah, we'll be able to, yeah, maybe I'll just send out a link and we'll have like 3 or 4 days just to like review everything. Um, Here are the results from the vote. I'd encourage people to double check my homework. So this is all just straight from the snapshot. So anyone can verify this if they go to and basically download the voter results. Something strange that I wasn't like it is a little tricky for me to wrap my head around was basically when I did the analysis, and these are all the votes. So, for example, here's an address that voted 100% for average. Here's one that spread their voting power between 3 different options. Um, and then, I took the square root of the amount of tokens that they had. And actually, the result that I got was different than the results that are displayed here, which are supposedly using quadratic voting. I tried to figure out what method they were using that got this sort of distribution with 70% for the average, but yeah, I couldn't really reconstruct it honestly. Yeah, like you can see the math here. So I took the quadratic voting power and then basically yeah use this sum product method where yeah, so this vote for example is 100% of this voting power is going to the average. This vote, for example, is a third of the voting power is going to each of these 3 options. And then, yeah, so you basically multiply this column by that column, and then you add it all together. And these were the results that I got. So 40% of the total voting power in quadratic terms went to the average, and then yeah, 5% to 1, 2, 3. So yeah, especially because my results were different than what is in the proposal. Yeah, I'd really like if someone can just double check these numbers and see if they get to the same conclusion. Um, yeah, I think it's right. I looked through it a few times, especially because I got different numbers. I was like, yeah. Um, but yeah, these are the final results between each of them, and then so because the average is distributed between each of these options, right? So the average was like 36% going to the Space Engineering Guild, and you basically just multiply uh, this column by that column, and you add it all together, and that gives you the total percent that goes to each. So these were the final results. So yeah, 36% went to Space Engineering Guild, 30% to the Community Guild, 8% to Davos, 5% to Denver, and so on and so forth. But yeah, if you guys can check these results, that'd be great. And then just to quickly explain how this document works, these are the same results that I just mentioned in voter results. And yeah, each of the coordinates are here. Um, so for example, with the Space Engineering Guild, we're missing, I think Phil in the coordinate. So he just DM'd me his numbers, and yeah, I input them here. I think for transparency's sake, we should take each of the coordinates and make them open so that people can view them. But yeah, I think for each team, we should double check the numbers and make sure that they're all accurate. But yeah, as I mentioned, we're still waiting on a couple people to input their coordinate numbers, and then yeah, finally, I think we're still missing a couple things for the MVP, and yeah, this column is actually incorrect right now. Should be subtracting. Um, as of projects v4. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Yeah, open to any questions or any thoughts. But yeah, once the final results are all put in, I'll make an announcement and give a few days for people to double check the numbers and make sure everything's correct. So yeah.
Question here.
Yeah, go for it, Luffy.
So the transparency project is like we applied the project V3, which is we have a kind of like MVP for that. However, as the project completed this quarter, so I didn't receive any MVP for that, which is I can't remember 2000 something. Yeah. So if there is some like case where the bonus is lower than, I mean the bonus for both projects, I'm getting info lower than the MVP, uh, then what gonna happen?
So to make sure I understand, so there was an MVP that was in the Treasury Transparency, but it wasn't paid out yet. Is that
Yes,
correct? Yeah.
that's correct. Yeah.
So yeah, you're guaranteed those 2,000
Yeah.
for doing the project. So yeah, even if your bonus ends up being less than 2,000, you'll still get that 2,000. Yeah.
Yeah, but in this case, it kind of like the bonus compile multiple projects. Then you have to do some math there. I know this is like kind of a corner case, and is hopefully we not gonna happen. Um,
I think it's easily resolvable.
yeah,
Yeah, it's basically like you yeah, you're guaranteed those 2,000 no matter what. But yeah, it'll be subtracted from the total bonus that you get. So yeah, I mean, we can just assume. Was there a multi-sig created for that project?
no, no,
Ah, okay. All right. Well, we'll just keep that in mind. But yeah, it shouldn't affect things too much. Yeah.
cool, cool.
Cool.
Is it possible to join a circle somehow on Coordinate,
No,
or do you have to be added
they're
by an admin?
so you were added to each of the coordinates, but I think that
The wrong
yeah, you
wallet
just
got added, though. Is the problem?
yeah, it was a wallet that you sent us. So yeah, I think it's too late for you. So what you'll have to do is just DM me what your distribution is, and then it'll be just added on. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just. Can you do the average of what the other people do?
Um, yeah, that's fine if you want to do it that way. We can just assume
Sure.
it's the average for each of those. Okay, sure. All right.
The
Then
one
we're just missing Ben and Sean, so we'll make sure to follow through with
when we're
them.
doing the coordinate, just one tips. So if you want, the coordinate without like visible for someone, so make sure that you put them as the admin. Otherwise, only the admin can see the final result.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish it were just visible by default. I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be. But yeah. Cool. Any other questions about this? Yeah, I was hoping to get everything in place by this meeting, but yeah, just a couple loose ends.
Yeah, I want to see one thing. I see maybe I don't know. Is that because I see the other three guilds should pass the snapshot, and now it got MVP and also incentives. It was said that the growth guild didn't pass snapshot, and even that no MVP and also no incentive. So there's several members from my team at that time. So I don't know how to handle this issue. I know you answers, Pablo, and but I want to ask here maybe again, and how could we handle this? And I'm past the proposal, and due to MVP issue and our treasury issue.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a sad situation because the Growth Guild basically did convene and meet and definitely did work. But yeah, it just never passed through Snapshot. Yeah, I don't know. I think if other people have ideas of like what can be done in that sort of situation, I mean, honestly, people shouldn't be doing work for projects that haven't passed yet because that puts everyone in kind of an awkward situation if the project doesn't pass. So I think it's just a learning going forward that we should be careful about that. But also, yeah, it's definitely sad. But I think Balak, you were still paid for one quarter, right, of Growth Guild when we set up the interim guilds, right?
Yeah, you mean that the Q4 last year?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. This I got just for Q1 that
Yeah,
I
just Q1.
yeah, this is for Q1 though. I
Yeah.
think maybe is my suggestion may be to I don't know, maybe for just for discussion to edit the growth guild proposal without MVP, and then yeah, the committee clear that this we put too much money for different guilds and without MVP, and then first the Senate and then snapshot. If pass, then maybe just get some incentive. I know maybe Q1 is already finished. I don't know, maybe to put it in a Q2, at least get a little in with this word I just forgot. Reactive on incentive. What guys do you think? Or just to let it go? I'm
Hmm.
open.
Yeah, well, if yeah, I think it's a little too late because you know what, if we were to add a new project in, we already did the vote on Snapshot, and yeah, we'd have to redo the vote, and yeah, it's really, I mean, yeah, it's sad that it didn't pass, but yeah, I think it's yeah, it is what it is, kind of, you know. It's just
Pablo, are you talking or it's my problem?
no, I just stopped talking.
Yeah, I know it's didn't pass, so it's my suggestion maybe just formulate the growth guild and then go the snapshot again without any MVP, and then to do this as Q2, maybe look at a little incentive for the growth guild members. And as we all know, the death guild and also still not finished. I think maybe would be in a Q2 together. So
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that I think that makes sense. Yeah, I mean the dev guild is still going. Yeah,
yeah.
there could definitely be a project submitted for next quarter. Yeah, I would think also with Mitchie and some of the new ideas around stewardship and see how yeah, you can yeah, fit the growth guild through that new framework that Mitchie's been developing. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks, Pablo.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, that's all from my side. Please continue.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about this before we move on? Cool. All right. So let's see. Next on the agenda is oh yeah, Yan Kejun update. So yeah, sorry, we've been a little bit slow with the updates with Yan Kejun because we're we're sort of waiting to get more information from the immigration attorney and from Blue Origin. So yeah, sadly, Yan did not pass again, and yeah, we created basically a 50-page visa package for him with you know, documentation uh, about his flights, his ties to China, like his finances, his family, letters of support from Blue Origin, from MoonDAO, from even the Chinese foreign minister affair, something like that. Yeah, there were he had a bunch of documentation going in, and what we thought was a very strong case. The immigration attorney also wrote a letter. Yeah, big cover letter. Yeah, and we're pretty disappointed. The meeting lasted just 4 minutes. So Yan waited in line 4 hours for his meeting, and yeah, the visa uh, officer just asked Yan one question: why was he going to the United States? And then gave him a generic rejection. So very disappointing result. But yeah, we've consulted with the immigration attorney, and yeah, we've spoken to Yan too, and yeah, we don't want to give up on Yan. We don't think or yeah, our visa team feels like it was very unfair and unjust. So yeah, we have a strategy now. He's been going to the same embassy in Beijing, the U.S. embassy in Beijing, for those to get his visa. But Beijing is notoriously difficult, and actually, um, Chinese citizens can go to any U.S. embassy to get a visa. So we're gonna look for other embassies that are a little bit more relaxed, I guess. Yeah, it's quite common to not get a visa, especially someone like Yan who's never been outside of China. Um, but yeah, Yan of course was heartbroken, and so are we on the team. Yeah, I've reached out to my congressperson and actually got a message back. They might be able to support us more, and write a letter. And yeah, I think that we're just gonna keep pushing. Blue Origin is still supportive of Yan, and they're happy to have him. Yeah, Yan will just need to continue learning some amount of English so that he can be responsive to commands and ensure that he's safe for everyone else on that Blue Origin flight. So yeah, we still have plenty of time, and yeah, we're gonna keep pushing for Yan. But yeah, definitely sad. But I guess it makes for a more interesting story. So yeah.
Hey, Pablo, thank you for sharing. Just one question. So do we, I mean, when you say that we can apply in different embassy in, let's say, different locations, so I thought they have some kind of like a system to store all the applications. So it means that if Jan go to, let's say, U.S. embassy in Belgium, then they know that like he had applied 3 times. Is that the case?
So it's up to the individual discretion of the visa officer whether or not someone gets a visa. So yeah, it definitely doesn't help that he's been rejected already. Yeah, but I think that there are certain embassies, there are certain places where it's much easier to get a visa, and yeah, I think that we've been going through basically the hardest embassy, and yeah, I think if we keep pushing and keep building up Yan's case, I think we can get him through. Yeah.
Okay. This is very interesting story. I'm just curious if we want to, like say, share the story with the public and just make some noise and media can get involved. I'm sure lots of like media can just hunting for this kind of story. How do you think? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud.
Um. Well, I mean, if if it supports us, then that's good. Yeah, something that we were considering is having letters from people all over the MoonDAO community to support Yan. Um, I think yeah, I'm just imagining Yan walking into the embassy with like 500 letters of support from all of his MoonDAO members, supporting him. I think that might be. I mean, I don't know if it would necessarily help so much, but I think the idea is just that it's pretty heartwarming. I think it's difficult to, you know, be a visa officer and then see this guy come in with 500 letters of support and then say no. So yeah, I think that there are ways that we can support him like that. And yeah, if someone does pick up the story, um, yeah, I think that
We
yeah
just
that,
need
that could be
a
good.
store. We just need a storyteller, and then someone who like work with the media. And as you mentioned, 5,000 letters. I mean, physical letters should be something very heartwarming, and if I don't know if it gonna increase the chance to get a visa, but at least as a community we do something, and maybe it's kind of an action that unite the whole community together. So right now, I believe that the Chinese community thought that okay, we just give up on Jan. So maybe we should do something like that. even though it's not increase the chance to win the visa, but at least we give some message. We not give up.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, maybe we can create a web page form for people to submit letters of support for Yan and why they think it's meaningful, and we can do a social media campaign or something around that too. Yeah, I don't think it would hurt.
Just ask Jan if he willing for that,
Yeah,
and if he say yes, and then we can do it.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, so maybe we can talk about this in the next leadership meeting.
Yeah, yeah, we can put something together. I think yeah, we should really push to support Yan. All right, and then okay, any other questions about Yan?
And is this ongoing support from the legal team? Is that included in our retainer, or are we gonna have to pay more for that?
We might need to. Yeah, well, I've spoken to them. I'm not sure what else we would need from them at this point. Like we have a very robust visa package with like all of the documentation and everything that yeah needs. Yeah, I think yeah we'll see how if we need anything more from their end. Really, I mean, like most people booking visas, they don't have like an immigration attorney. Like anyone can book them and do all of that. So I think that we're good on that front. But yeah, each time that we apply, we need to have new information basically. And so like a letter from a congressperson would be something like new information. Um, more letters of support would be new information. Yeah. So yeah, I think we'll need to make sure we have something new to bring over to the visa office. And yeah, hopefully this letter of support from my congressperson comes through. But a letter from a notable person would also be something that would be new information that would support. So yeah, maybe Ari, if you have contacts at the UN, or and anyone notable that's willing to write a letter of support, that would be very helpful too.
Pablo, so
Yeah,
can
have you?
Oh, sorry, Ari, first, please.
Thanks. Have you spoken with him about doing the citizen astronaut training program with Space for Humanity? Because they've dealt with this a few times with their citizen astronauts, and they were able to get them through. Is that something that Jan would be interested in?
I don't know if we've asked him directly yet. I mean, yeah, I remember. Well, yeah, Rachel was in here just a few weeks ago, and yeah, maybe it's worth it to do that program, and get some extra support. Yeah, yeah, could be helpful.
Is Jan on Discord? Can we tag him in that channel or set up a meeting to talk about about the Space for Humanity program?
Yeah, he's on Discord. I think his username is blank. Yeah, we can set something up.
Thanks. Over to you, Balak.
Yeah, okay. First, Ari, I asked Yan one time. I think he has interest because we discussed one time by our leadership meeting, and then at that time, I asked one time.
I'm not getting audio from Balak. Is anyone else?
Can you hear me?
I can
Or
hear
it's-
I can hear Bullock.
Okay. Ari, I think I asked, if I remember right, I asked one time, Yan, and because he asked me, and he said he has interest to do this. Maybe, yeah, if you, as Pablo said, if you can support on this, it would be also great to get us letter something. My question that, because I normally go to Europe or something, the visa rejection will always give a reason or give a thing that okay, maybe this is wrong and that is wrong. So can a lawyer find the get to the reason why yen get rejected? Because as far as I know, just the U.S. or the general U.S. embassy do not want Chinese people to get involved in IT technology, space, or such areas. So I don't know if it's this reason or can we find the exact reason that why Yang rejected them to give more to get the approval support something.
Yeah, we did an inquiry, and I think we're waiting to hear back. But yeah, they're pretty. They don't give that much info. Yeah, usually the criteria or the thing that people need to prove when they're applying for visas that they don't have immigrant intent. So I thought that we proved it pretty well, but yeah, it's just up to the visa officer. If they're having a bad day, if they feel for whatever reason, they can reject you. So yeah.
We invite the visa embassy also to 0G 10G flight together.
Offer them a zero gravity flight.
This is real, not we are joke something to trick them. Give ticket to them, Pablo.
Yeah.
MoonDAO pay. Yes, sad. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll get there. I'm staying optimistic. But yeah, any other thoughts or questions about Yan?
Do we have an idea about what our deadline is for this and when we would want to redo the raffle or issue it to the next person in line?
Well, we have plenty of time right now until Yan is due to fly. So yeah, I don't think there's not any formal deadline. But yeah, I think if we continue failing, I think that there does need to be a time where we call it quits and we keep moving on. But yeah, I think Ian won it fair and square, and yeah, I feel like it's our duty to really support him. But yeah, eventually we'll have to we'll have to look to see who else is up. Yeah. But yeah, okay. If there are no other questions about Yan, then I'll move over to the next agenda item. So there's an update with the MoonDAO operating agreement. Let's see. Yeah, so more or less, there's been a change in how MoonDAO does their like AML. So this is their like anti-money laundering, and what it used to be was that anyone who has over 25% of the tokens needs to KYC. And if no one has over 25% of the tokens, then there needs to be at least one person that KYCs for that organization. But they recently changed it to be all managing members. So this is a requirement that not MoonDAO is asking for, but in order to be compliant with the AML side of things. So what this means for us is basically that as the operating agreement was written, that the executive branch was defined as the managing members. So these are all of the members of our multi-sig. So with this new change, all of the members of the multi-sig would need to KYC. However, all the only right that the managing members have are the authority to bind the company. So this is like signing contracts on behalf of MoonDAO. But that is, I mean, that power is only reserved if and only if a proposal has gone through governance. So yeah, it's basically like just defining whose name can be on the dotted line. And yeah, we could define that as being the multi-sig, this executive branch, or we could define it as being the astronauts. And yeah, so that would just mean that the astronauts would be the ones that need to do KYC instead of the multi-sig. We could go with everyone on the multi-sig just doing KYC, or we can change the definition. It's just this one word, basically. But yeah, I think that if we do change it, we should put it through governance. Yeah, I don't think it really affects the operations of MoonDAO at all. It's just like who ends up signing, whether it's someone who's on the multi-sig or one of the astronauts. Yeah, and yeah, there can be up to 3 astronauts inside of the DAO. And I think also like the definition of managing members is like someone who's kind of doing the ordinary, quote unquote, ordinary and usual decisions concerning business affairs. And as of now, the multi-sig signers really just are a layer of security, but they're not necessarily that active inside of our community, or doing everyday decision making. They're really just there as a security measure on top of the treasury. So yeah, would like to hear your guys' thoughts on that. And yeah, that's basically it.
I think it makes more intuitive sense this way anyway. I don't really have any feedback other than that. Yeah, it just makes more sense
Yeah.
to astronauts and then put it through governance. I think that's the right way.
Cool. Yeah, another thing too. This was actually brought up like a few weeks ago, which was that right now we define astronauts inside of the Senate, but it might make more sense really to include the astronauts as part of the executive branch. Just kind of, it's more of a refactor than anything, not changing anything with the astronauts, but I feel like it makes more intuitive sense to have the astronauts sit inside of the executive branch rather than in the Senate. And even, I mean, I don't know what you guys think about this, but I would be in favor of astronauts not even having a vote inside of the Senate, just to make them more kind of like neutral, just like referees, I guess, inside of the DAO. But yeah, I mean, that was something else that came up, which is like, yeah, and again, I don't think this really affects anything with like day-to-day MoonDAO operations. It's just taking the astronaut definition and then putting it inside of the executive branch rather than the Senate. But yeah, that was just another thought. Yeah, I think these numbers need to be updated.
Can you put
but-
this in page list mode?
What's up?
Can you put the doc in page list mode?
How do you do that again? The format?
File. Down at the bottom, page setup. Oh, see, I don't know why. Sometimes MoonDAO docs are like this. I don't know how to do it when it's like this. Never mind. We don't have to get into it now.
Yeah. But yeah, yeah, I think that, yeah, obviously any changes to operating agreement or the constitution should go through governance. So yeah, I'd like to just throw this up for governance, and changing this one word, and yeah, just swapping this from the Senate to the executive.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't know how. I'm not quite decided on whether or not astronauts should have a vote. I think in one way it makes sense for them to be like neutral referees, like you're saying, but also in another way, maybe people look to the astronauts to like make decisions or to like be, to have impact on decisions. Maybe that, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just kind of thinking out loud, I guess, but yeah, I'd be interested to know what other people think as well.
Yeah, I guess I'm a fan of the sort of separation of powers a little bit, and yeah, separating the two. But yeah, I don't know. Even with I mean, this is kind of separate, but similar idea of a separation of powers. It might make sense to not allow Senate members to vote inside of the member house. Like, yeah, since we're registering the wallets of the Senate members, it might make sense to not allow them to vote in this house, so that there is kind of that like clear separation between the two. Which is another thought.
Would it also maybe be feasible to do like a half step towards that where we just let or we just prevent people from voting on proposals that they're directly involved in? Because I'm just thinking if we did do that right now, then we're probably half our votes would be gone. And it's usually the Senate members who are the most informed about the actual project anyway.
Hmm. For the Senate, yeah.
But I do see a point in like, if you're on a proposal, then maybe you shouldn't be voting on it. I've voted on my own proposals in the past and felt kind of weird about it. But I was like, what else am I supposed to do, right?
It's kind of like giving yourself a high five.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at the very least, yeah, being barred from voting on proposals that affect you, that seems like, for the sake of integrity, makes sense.
Yeah, but I would still be in favor of allowing other Senate members to vote as long as they're not directly involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, do agree with Michi that right now, just let other members, I mean, any members, even though they get involved in the project, can vote. Otherwise, we end up with just like few, I mean, people to vote.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, we can also vote on whether or not this should be bold. Yeah, great. Yeah, I think yeah, we can throw it through governance and see people's thoughts. Yeah, I think that this shouldn't be too big. So yeah. All right. Any other thoughts about the operating agreement? Cool. All right. So I think, yeah, that's it for my topics. Sorry to talk for so long, guys. I'll hand it over to Balak, who wanted to talk about the Hong Kong Web3 event. Go for it, Balak.
Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm Damien, attended the Hong Kong Web3 event, and yeah, we call it festival. So I see it's not meant on not focused on technology and technique. It's on promotion, on to connecting something. So and at first, as I also write something on the Growth Guild channel, and we used the QR code and for Ryan, and it's pretty as image for lookup. The cell phone is really pretty easy and simple. Just put the button of battery and show the code. So, but we just found that, and by the event, most the people mostly on like to follow Twitter. So Damien made it very quick, so really helpful. That Damien made a very quick QR code for our Twitter. Then we use both for people and whatever they like to follow, and input email for newsletter or follow our Twitter. So we talk to, yeah, we always keep talking. And as I said, by yesterday, the day before yesterday, by Gitcoin Grants weekly meeting. So the Web3 people even maybe don't need to eat or sleep, because and Damien go to I think over 3 booths, because there are different booths, and these booths are from different projects, centralized exchanges or something. We are from around half 9 o'clock, and then till, because at lunchtime I think maybe we need to eat, and I see there are still a lot of people there, and we are also didn't feel hungry, so we are always go to different booths until 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Then get also a little get a little food, then go to then closed in the event, but also invited in the by a bar and also a restaurant to keep networking continue. So what are the big projects what we are talking about is Chainlink and Filecoin, near protocol and the Wall protocol, and yeah, and there are also centralized exchange OKX. I think most of these people and followed our Twitter. I don't know, maybe our Twitter increased over 20 or 13%. I didn't notice by, and yeah, for the training, there's one thing, because we have also used the VRF for the 0G, for one ticket for 0G flight. They are willing to also do a co-marketing for us. So, and to when we use our VRF, then we can make Twitter, and he will also to retweet this, and also ask the third party medium, if they like, they can also publish an article about this mechanism, about our 0G flight something. So yeah, maybe I talk later to Ari. So when we do our VRF, and then ask with the training to do a co-marketing. Yeah, what we did is a soft marketing. We go to the booth and first listen to their project. If for big projects, for example, like Near Protocol and Filecoin, because I just go to them and say I'm the holder of token Near or Fi. So they are then to ask the status of their project, then to promote, to see what we have did, what we are doing zero, what we are doing now, several different projects, and what our mission. So to my surprise, that several people already know MoonDAO, but seem like they don't know MoonDAO still existed. They are saying, "Oh yeah, we are still alive and also alive good. We are running still different projects." And yeah, there's to one. I see also still several old money in there. So I met also one guy from the Goldman Sachs, and he's very interested in DAO governance and also space something. So I talk a lot, explain a lot to him. So at the end, yeah, I also had a WeChat with him, and I say, okay, if you would like, maybe Goldman Sachs should invest MoonDAO to do something. Yeah. Also, there's I see also talk to two DAOs, and yeah, Greenpeer, they will do all co-marketing with us for Gitcoin grant, and there were two DAOs, big DAOs. There's one is CDAO, another one is 1783 DAO. 1783 DAO is just for social. So whatever you want, you go. I want to hold a party or something. I want to hold a football event. Then he can organize all of this. So yeah, there's several pretty things, and from that event, and I think we got a lot of tension that because those people from different projects follow our Twitter, and one people I want to mention on the event, I say I from MoonDAO. He said there's one member. He said he joined our Discord and he listened to our leadership meeting or also other meeting in Discord. Maybe in the here not anymore, Gatathon not anymore, but in Discord he took the notes even because I asked him why he do this because he said he like space and agriculture, so he took the notes, and I think it took it maybe 1 or 2 months he did it, and we moved to Gatathon, then not anymore, and he said he really believe MoonDAO would make these crazy things happen. So yeah, this is what we learned from the Hong Kong Web3 event. Okay, any questions? So
Actually, no question, Balak, but it's awesome. Thank you for going to that event and speak about MoonDAO, and it's kind of like heartwarming when we heard that someone like join our Discord and enjoy the way we are building. Yeah.
thanks, Michi.
Yeah, thanks for the report, Balak. No questions from my end. Does anyone else have questions for Balak? Cool. So I think that's it for the topics that we have. So yeah, open floor if anyone wants to bring something up or yeah, anything that's on people's mind or yeah, they like to discuss.
Yeah, I still want one thing on mind. We have discussed, but this thing's always in my mind regarding our treasury portfolio. So I don't know what's your guys' feeling. So because besides our big governance token, Mooney, we only have now 100%, almost 100% is and this Ethereum. So I'm also not an expert for portfolio. So but I I really think that we need to think about to keep our treasury in 2 or 3 or 4 uh, stablecoin or Bitcoin or Ethereum, and have several this allocation, not just Ethereum. So for this topic, so I always keep in my mind. So I think maybe we need to do something. I don't know the market where it goes. So, but from my point of view, I have bad feeling, but my feeling was always something wrong. But yeah, I just want to bring here to discuss again. Maybe Bonnie can give more thoughts on this topic. So, but I think we really need to consider to make our portfolio a little more diversification. Okay, can anyone hear me, or it's my problem?
Yeah, I think I can hear you, Balak. Yeah, I think yeah, we should put together a proposal. Yeah, I'm not you know, portfolio manager or expert by any means either, but I do think that yeah, we should diversify a little bit. And yeah, maybe hold a few different kinds of stable coins and a few different kinds of more volatile assets. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that we should figure out what we expect to be spending in the next year or so, and yeah, have that in stables. I think that
Yeah.
that's like would generally be wise. Yeah.
Yeah, because as we all can remember that after fundraising from Juicebox, the MoonDAO and fundraised around 2,600 and Ethereum. At that time, it was more than 8 million and US dollar. And then we make that decision to, I think, swap most of the Ethereum to stablecoin. And yeah, then the market go to bear market. We see and so we saw that if we at the time we keep our Ethereum, then it will be very big and lost for us. So for the investment, there's always defined. There's always not secure, dangerous. So from my just all perspective, so maybe to add one or two stablecoin and then add small portion of Bitcoin, then that's all, because we all know that Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are both the most valued token, and stablecoin is, yeah, maybe not 100% stable, but still stable. So maybe two stablecoin, USDC, and then use DAI, and then add Ethereum and Bitcoin some portion, then maybe not so complicated. So can anyone also give thoughts here? So I think maybe we make it not very complicated to add a bunch of tokens like Bitcoin token, DTC, or Link or something to, yeah, to just maybe to save Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe stablecoin, one or two stablecoin, USDC, and then also DAI. Can you also give thoughts here? So I don't want to give a lot of other. We all know they are not maybe the shit coin, but the price of those tokens, they are very fluctuating if the market change. So maybe just keep it simple and stablecoin, one, two stablecoin, and the Bitcoin. Then this will then for our treasury. Then if someone have the ability to make investment, then maybe to take a very small portion of the stablecoin or Ethereum or Bitcoin to do it. But it besides our treasury portfolio. The portfolio is just make our treasury a little stable and safe.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think we just need a proposal to be drafted, and yeah, then we can start discussing the specifics. But yeah, I think the simpler it is, the better. Yeah.
Should I just make a simple proposal that I know this is a big decision, and but should I make a simple uh, uh, proposal that bring to next week to our district media again? Then I will see here. If I made it, I just make maybe four tokens Ethereum we have, and Bitcoin, then stablecoin, two stablecoin, and USDC and then DAI. Should I do it? Because we talked, I think 2 times, but still not move forward.
Yeah. I think maybe start by making a thread and ideation and tagging people, and then if anyone has thoughts that they want to bring up about it, then we can discuss it just a few days, and then we should make a proposal. Yep.
Okay, then I will make a thread in the adoration and then we discuss it, and after that, then then let's put a proposal to move forward. Then.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Cool.
great.
Yeah, I think likewise. There's been some discussion already about partnerships and what that looks like. Barney going absolutely bananas. Yeah, I think that would be a good one to have put together maybe by next week, hopefully. And then yeah, I've been talking about like formally and officially making a astronaut proposal. So that's been on my plate for a little while. And yeah, I think the stewardship proposal is also yeah, what's the status on that one, Michi?
Yeah,
Is
we're meeting about that directly after this meeting, and
Awesome.
I'm going to try to get you to post it on Snapchat tomorrow.
Cool. All right, well then yeah, we've got some pretty big proposals for next week.
You were saying next week we'll have the partnerships proposal though?
I mean, I was mostly just saying that we've been talking about that for a while, and I think it would be good to pull the trigger on some version of that soon. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's momentum, and we need to capitalize on it.
Totally.
I'm thinking that for partnerships, we should use this new zero MVP project system and have a rocketeer be the point of contact and establish a partnership with these organizations, and that could be a good way of creating a relationship and also having like the one point person to facilitate partnership within the organization, and that should be I think a seamless way of doing it. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, I think that's a cool way of doing it. I know Manuel and Michi and a couple others have there's an active thread, right? So yeah, let's discuss in the thread and we can figure out what makes the most sense. But yeah, I like that idea, Ari, of having like a point person for each. Yeah. Sweet. Also, on my plate for this week is turning off some of the vesting. So right now we're vesting some of the Q4 and phase 2 payments, and yeah, those will need to be turned off. And then yeah, also I know Justin's been well, yeah, we haven't been paid yet for DAO Denver, so yeah, that's also on my plate. We realized actually that there was a mistake between 2 of the multi-sigs. So there were transactions that were accidentally made out of the DAO Denver multi-sig for Yan Kejun, and so now we're reversing that, and we've created the actual multi-sig for Yan Kejun visa support, and then we're gonna just send the amount back from the Yan Kejun multi-sig into the DAO Denver one. Hopefully that never happens again, but yeah, it seems like there was a mistake there, and yeah, let's let's be careful about that next time. Yeah. But yeah, it's easily solvable, but yeah, we just need to make sure that we're using the right multi-sig. I know that we've got a bunch. So yeah, definitely best practices are to label them and yeah, just keep things organized. Put them in the right Google Doc, Drive. You know, even linking it inside of your final report. And I mean, now we're asking to link them in the proposal directly. So I think that should be a bit more helpful. But yeah, there's also some multi-sig transactions that need to be signed. So if you're a treasury signer, make sure that you get to those. But yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I have some, let's say, comment on the project multi-site. So right now, I saw that we have, let's say, more than, let's say, 20 something project multi-site. And if you see the members, the signers, so they are almost the same. So this is have a couple of problems. First of all, it's difficult for us to manage all the multi-sites as time go by. The number can end up with 100, something like that, and it will cost consider amount of gas fee for creating the new multi-site. So I'm just curious if we should have, let's say, some reusable multi-site project for some certain projects. So let's say you can see me, Balak, Jill, Barney, and some other members like Ryan in Michi in almost of the multi-site. So why don't we just have one, let's say, common multi-site project for some, let's say, project with small budget. The big one like documentary, we're gonna have separate one, but the other one, the project steward can decide if they want to use such like common project multi-site. It can save a lot of time and effort for people, especially when it comes to the final report.
Yeah, I think in some cases that might be all right. I do like the idea of separating out multi-sigs from just a clarity and accounting point of view. So it just makes things like pretty simple to see, what happened with those funds, and yeah, it just makes things pretty transparent. But yeah, the gas fees can add up, especially these days they're pretty high. So yeah, maybe I think we'll just need to kind of take that on a case by case basis. It depends on who's working on the project and what their needs are. So yeah. Yeah, with a no MVP project, they kind of don't really need a multi-sig anyways. So for those smaller projects, I think it'll be a little easier. But yeah.
I think the Chesapeake make a very good suggestion. So it makes sense to make some project, maybe the multi-site on layer 2, because if we as Luffy just said, we have so many projects. So each projects that need to pay a lot of gas for transaction or for setting up the multi-site. So maybe it's a way to do this.
Yeah, I've never created a multi-sig on an L2, but yeah, if someone wants to go ahead and test that out and play around with it, that'd be good too. Yeah, we'll just have to figure out how to bridge some of our funds over into the L2 and then send it over. I think that should be doable, but I've never played around with it, so it's hard for me to say.
Yeah, I'm using a multi-bridge on the NFT project because I'm deploying NFTs on Polygon. So I did basically another safe, and yeah, I did the bridge inside the multi-sig, a different one. So it works. really well. We just need to use tokens that are compatible with Polygon or wherever other chain that we are using.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's a good way to do it. I haven't played around with it, but yeah, I'd be down to test it out.
Yeah, if we just go to the topic the different multi-sig, so maybe that one small thing. So as we know, if we open a safe, there are always the token of safe just showed on top of this of the page. So if we since we have so many multi-sig, so I think each multi-sig gets some SIG tokens. So I think this time we need to collect of them, and I think maybe this also yeah a small money for our treasury.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, just be aware that I see our treasury multi-sig has over 8,254 safe token, and also in different multi-sig they also 1 or 2,000 tokens. Maybe it was also, I don't know, worth something in the future.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Any other topics or things? I think we're right about close up time.
I just one
oh,
little thing
sorry.
about multi-sigs. But go ahead, Bob.
Since Luke, sorry, Mitch, are you talking?
No, go ahead.
Okay, because since Lucas are here, Lucas said one time he can also give some knew someone from embassy or something could also give a support on Yan Kejun's visa support. Lucas, if you are online, so you can give a support here also.
Yeah, let's talk about it
Yeah,
in
I
the
talked
Discord.
to a few embassies.
Awesome. Yeah, Lucas. Yeah, let's definitely sync
the support
after
room.
this meeting, and we can come up with a plan on that.
I just wanted to bring up quickly about the multi-sigs. We discussed before the idea that all our multi-sig signers, we should probably have like a phone number for them so that we can text them basically when there's a multi-sig to sign. It just you know, those messages can get buried in Discord pretty quickly, and I know I would be a lot more responsive to them if I had a text. But I'm just kind of wondering what we should do to make a move on that. You know, like what's the anyone have any ideas about how we can get that implemented?
Testing.
We can hear you fine. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, we just need someone to take the initiative and collect everyone's phone numbers. Yeah,
Cool.
pretty doable, but yeah, I just think no one's gone around to
No,
it yet.
no, everyone's busy. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay.
I have some update about the MoonDAO trademark in China. So I talked to the lawyer yesterday, and we have a very big discussion about how we're going to proceed the legal the legal action, and we're gonna do is suing for Forky for using our logo to register the IP in front of us, and suing him from not using the original logo, something like what's that called? I don't remember some legal details, but we're gonna do
suing for $500K US losing and get back the IP to us. Yeah, and the lawyer told us to start registering in Europe too. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem again. Yeah.
Does Foggy know that he's going to get slapped?
We already sent out the lawyer request information. So.
Yeah, I feel like I should stop dancing for that discussion. Yeah. I mean, ideally, he just realizes that hey, it's not his trademark, it's not his IP, and he just lets go of it. But yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to like pressure him like this. So yeah, it's a losing battle for him. So yeah.
Yeah, right now he still have chance because I'm not gonna to just like send out the legal action, but we're gonna to send out the request we want to do it. Let's see, he's gonna to willing to give it up. Right now, otherwise he really gonna to do the legal action. So he still have chance to give back the trademark to us. And in the deal, I said we're gonna to give him back. If he right now he's gonna to give back the IP to us right now, we're gonna to give him 1K for all the work he do. So yeah, but if he not gonna to respond to us this week, we're gonna to send it to the court.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Anything else people want to bring up before we close up?
I just want to shout out our 0G team and LifeShip meetings. So would love as much support from anyone on that. And we're working out a new commission-based system. So yeah, please join us on Friday for the LifeShip meeting and Wednesdays for 0G. And check out the Alien Space video that Ryan made happen. It's awesome.
Yeah, big stuff. We should. We're rolling out the basically a sales commission program, which I think would be. I think it's a really interesting way of doing things because we have such a big community. If if each of us reaches out to just a couple people to like sell a 0G ticket, yeah, we're figuring out exactly how we're going to do it with 0G. But what we'd like to do is basically give people $1,000 for each 0G ticket that they sell. So yeah, could be pretty big.
So how many tickets are we selling right now?
I believe we're selling 18. Is that correct? I think we have 22 in total, and we're selling 18 of them. Is that right? Oh, we're selling. Okay, never mind.
We already sell out 22 tickets.
Have we already sold the 22? No, we haven't.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, so
No.
how many we sold right now?
We have a few commitments right now, but haven't like actually transferred the money in yet. So yeah, it's in June. So people are still like kind of figuring out their calendars and all of that. What Christina's told us is that yeah, people don't usually it's not until the week or two right before that people make the commitment to actually buy it. but we're trying to get some commitments ahead of time. Yeah.
Nice. Lots of time. So I think it's not that bad. It's in June.
Yeah.
So regarding the co-marketing with Channing, we got a VF selection. So is Pablo or Ari in charge? Maybe I need to talk to one of you about it.
Sorry, with what?
Chainlink, because we will use also one ticket for online. Use the Chainlink VRF selection. So the Chainlink, I met them by the Hong Kong Web3 event. They are willing to do a co-marketing for us to make some noise. Use Chainlink Twitter, and also we also ask the third part media to if are willing to write article about this.
Sounds great. Yeah, let's talk about it in the Zero G channel.
Okay, great.
I also want to give a shout out to check out the Starship potential launch in about 12-ish hours. I got to go over for the wet dress rehearsal, and definitely recommend it if anyone's within flying distance. It's incredible to see.
Yeah.
They gave us a
Yeah.
live broadcast at the Community Guild meeting.
Yeah, that was sick, Ari. Seeing the
Cool.
yeah, how close you were able to get to the rocket was crazy. You were like just what, like 30, 40 feet from it?
More like 200 feet, but yeah, compared to Cape Canaveral, where you're 3 miles away from the launch pad, it's incredible how close you can get.
Yeah, wow.
I can't imagine they're going to keep it like that much longer.
Yeah, I've been getting some pretty bad FOMO. I kind of hope that they delay it again, and then I'll actually book a flight out. But yeah, hopefully they can get the 420 flight. Yeah. But yeah, any other topics? Oh, actually, I've got one quick thing. I've been working with Django a little bit on how MoonDAO could leverage Juicebox for right now with Projects V4 we have that that version of doing a project where you basically raise money with support from MoonDAO, and yeah, I think that there's some really interesting stuff there. Basically, what we were putting together is something like a cross between X Prize and our MoonDAO projects system. So like more or less, like people put money into Juicebox, and then there's a certain goal that we try to achieve, and if that goal is met, then a request for proposals phase starts, and people request or people submit like their team and their solution to solve the problem, and then they can basically get funded from that pool. So like a portion of that pool, right now we're thinking something like 50% of that pool would go towards the teams that are going to race, and then whichever team like meets the criteria of actually having solved the issue first, they get the rest of the pool. So yeah, there are going to be a lot of kind of knobs to tweak to get that right, but yeah, pretty excited about it. Yeah, I think that it could be a cool framework for some of these bigger projects that are on a roadmap. But yeah, I'll share more details as I get them. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, anything else people want to bring up? All right. Then yeah, let's close this up. Thanks everyone.